Today I'm going to be doing a quick review of Cad Bane. He's a character who originated in the Clone Wars Star Wars TV series, in case you don't know. Definitely one of the best characters who came out of that series. He's proven to be popular enough that he's been featured in many other Star Wars series. I believe he's appeared in Star Wars Rebels. He had one or two episodes in Bad Batch, and he was even also featured in the live-action Boba Fett series. So there have actually been a few different versions of this character that came out, and this is my personal favorite. The other two are based on different appearances in Star Wars lore, and in one of those he has a gigantic floppy hat. This one is kind of in the middle, something like that. And per his live action appearance in Book of Boba Fett, that figure had a fairly small hat by comparison, so you kind of had a little bit of a Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear thing going on, and I chose Mama Bear. And actually I think this was his best look and most closely resembling how he appeared in the Clone Wars. And also, in case you didn't know, Cad is actually short for Cadbury, but for Star Wars lore, he doesn't care to be called by that name at all. In fact, I think he even hates chocolate. Seriously, dude? Your name is Cadbury? What kind of a name is Cadbury? Only my mother calls me by that name. Let's get into this figure's details. First off, that I really love the look of this figure. I mean, he just absolutely fits the iconic look of a gunslinger. That hat fits perfectly on his head. And just kind of going over some figure details here. Obviously, he's got some plate armor and shit like that. Big, broad, floppy hat. I think proportionately it fits really well with him. He's got two silver guns here, and they're very nicely detailed. It's two pistols, but they did not skimp on detail at all. Basically have three paint jobs. You've got a silver base layer, then it's got kind of brown wooden handle grips there, and then a black barrel. And these nice scopes on each of them. They're very accurate to the look of the blaster on the TV show. So they both fit in his hands very nicely. He's got great trigger finger sculpting there, and they attach on there perfectly. Both fit in his hands very nicely. Yeah, as far as figure details, again, he's got some armor plating and stuff like that. Shoulder pads, that kind of thing. Nothing restricting his movement as far as that goes, just the way they're attached to his shoulders. You've got that iconic, breathing tube apparatus on his cheeks there, and a little tank on the back, I guess. Again, the floppy hat does come off, and underneath that, he's got a little bit of a cowl or whatever on there. Fits on there perfectly. And just the way this hat is shaped, one thing I do appreciate about that is it's not hard to get the brim of that hat right above his eyelids, so you barely get this guy's face just straight out of a gunslinger movie. Yeah, he's got wrist gauntlets there, very nicely sculpted, got some details in there, pretty similar to what you see in the show. I believe he had a remote control of his ship or something like that. You got tubes coming out of here because they are actually flamethrower attachments. You've got these bullet bandoliers, although being a sci-fi TV show where they're shooting blasters, I'm not exactly sure what they need bullets for, but it's a great look one way or the other. He's got tons of those. Maybe they're cartridges, I guess. I don't know. These massively oversized holsters, I mean, they are ridiculously gigantic. There must be a reason for that. I'm just going to take it for what it is, I guess. Beautiful sculpting on his thigh-high boots and whatever, his knee pads. Even got the little rocket thrusters that he uses often in the TV show, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, nicely done all the way around. There's nothing on here that I'm looking at and going, well, there's some missing detail or whatever. It's a really well-done figure, and I just love the look of him, and I think his stance and posability or whatever is perfect for this specific type of character. As far as posability, we'll talk about that for just a little bit. He's got a standard set of wrist movement here. He can't turn his head up too terribly far, but he does have a bit of a double neck articulation there, so he can look down. Surprisingly, he has very little torso movement, and I suspect that's just because he's a really lanky figure, and they probably just don't have room for that kind of a joint in there. He can bend a little bit at the torso, but not much at all, to be honest with you. So as far as looking up, unfortunately, his range of motion is pretty darn limited in that regard. So you can't really get the torso to tilt back so that he can really look up to a great degree at any rate. Shoulder movement seems to be pretty unrestricted as far as I can tell. Actually, this is the first time I'm really paying attention to it. He does have a different shoulder pad on each side, so that is interesting. I like that asymmetry, similar to his gun belt. Anyways, yeah, pretty good range of shoulder movement. Can rotate, turn up, of course. His elbow doesn't seem to have a super restricted range of motion. motion, but given that he has these separate tubes sticking out and they are attached, you can't remove these. I'm a little bit nervous, I guess, about, moving that too much or whatever. But yeah, so basically he's got good elbow movement. He can twist it, he can bend it. Yeah, there again, and getting into the wrists a little bit more. Yeah, they can turn, not to a great degree, not as much as some of the other figures. Might just be because they're kind of longer and spindlier. That is something I do appreciate about this figure, just how lanky he is and whatever. He's got these long bony fingers, and he is kind of a pretty tall, lanky figure. Yeah, as far as leg movement, I mean, he's got perfectly fine movement at the hips, can swing up and then also out. You got pretty good knee bend there. It's kind of nice that the knee joints are hidden there. No pin joints on this dude. Pretty good set of ankle tilt. So yeah, you could definitely get him in that flying rocket man pose. Yeah, they could swivel left and right too, so he can get into a wide stance and whatever if you want. You can absolutely get this dude into some serious dynamic poses. So moving on to my rating, in case you don't know, this is my rating system of 5 different categories of up to 5 points each, for a total of anything between 0 to 25 points. So there again, Cad Bane's figure details are awesome. He looks like a little plastic man taken straight out of that animated Clone Wars TV series. His articulation is pretty darn decent and does have a couple of shortcomings. He's somewhat restricted in the neck and torso, and maybe a little bit in the elbow just because of the hoses, and that again is something I wouldn't want to stress the plastic on too much. So his accessories are really nice. He comes with a full set of, what you need for a Cad Bane type figure. A removable floppy hat, big old cowboy hat or whatever. It's a great hat too, by the way. Big old honking holsters, hold both of his guns perfectly well. He's got the rocket boots and the whole bit, just, beautiful sculpting and detailing, and of course his pistols. Perfect set of accessories as far as I'm concerned. I'm not sure what else they could have given this guy, to be honest. Quality on this figure, I would say, is pretty darn good. Got no complaints about it. I wouldn't say this is like an absolutely top shelf figure, but there's nothing as far as I'm concerned to complain about. I don't see any missing paint applications or anything that looks off kilter or whatever. Beautiful job on this figure all the way around. Accuracy on this figure, again, is accurate to this period in his appearance with Clone Wars, so very good figure. I really like this version of Cad Bane, and I like the character all the way around, so it's a really nicely done piece for a really good character for sure. So anyways, that brings the total here to 17 out of 25. So that's a quick look at this version of Cad Bane, and like I've said before, I've got a lot more Star Wars Black Series figures to take a look at. Very much like hearing from you guys. As always, of course, I would appreciate a like. Leave me a comment or whatever if you enjoyed this video. I always like hearing from people. And of course, this is not the only thing I review on this channel. Most people will know me for my reviews of 5.2 Toys Beast Box Series. One way or the other, I will have more videos to share with you as soon as I can get them put out. It's just a matter of time, and this is not my full-time job. So as always, I appreciate your participation, whether you're just watching this video, if you're leaving a like, if you're leaving a comment, or if you're sharing it with somebody, and especially if you're a subscriber. Thanks again. I will catch you in the next one. Take care.